Hi, my name is Kate and this is FabLab Fundamentals, and today we're going to be learning how to CAD on OnShape and 3D printing it on one of FabLab's 3D printers. We're going to be using this post-it note holder as an example. OnShape onto your computer, and you're either going to sign in or log in using whatever account you have. Now, when you log in, you're going to come to this home page, and you're going to create a new document by clicking on this Create and then Document button, and we're going to name it to whatever object we're making. Now we're going to create this document, and now we're going to see these three planes showing up, and we're going to create a sketch. So we're going to first make the base of the post-it note holder, which is going to be just a square. So we're going to click on the sketch button, and then we're going to click on the top plane. So we're going to make the sketch on this top plane. We're going to switch the view to the top plane, and we're going to click on this center point rectangle, and we're going to start from the origin. And then we're going to expand it out, click again, and now this is going to be our base. But since these measurements are a little off, we're going to click on this dimension button right at the top. We're going to click on the sides, make sure that they're highlighted in yellow, and then we're going to do 85 millimeters by 85 millimeters. This is just to give some leeway to the post-it note because the post-it note is 76 by 76 millimeters. So this will give it some space for the walls, the sides of the holder, and some space for the post-it note to fit in it. Now that we have our square made, we're going to click this check mark button. We're going to have this sketch right here. We're going to extrude it. So we're going to click on this extrude button, and then we're going to click on this sketch 1, or you could also click on it through the CAD. And we're going to make the thickness of the base 2.5 millimeters. We're going to click the check mark, and now we have a 2.5 millimeter thick square. Now this is going to be the base, so now we're going to create the sides of the post-it note holder. So we're going to create another sketch, and we're going to make it extrude on top of the base that we just made. So we're going to click the top of this base, and then we're going to create the sides. So we're going to use the corner rectangle now. And we're going to go from this corner all the way to here. Make sure that it's touching the side so that the side is highlighted. And then we're going to do that one more time. There, and then one more. Perfect. And the dimensions don't have to be perfect because we're going to change it right now. We're going to click on this. Click on two sides of the rectangle. And this is going to be our thickness of the side, so it's going to be 2.5 millimeters. We're going to do it right here, 2.5, and then one last time right over here. Perfect. Now that we have these three sides, and then this one side is going to be open so that the post-it note can slide right through. We're going to click on this check mark button. And now we're going to extrude the second sketch. So we're going to click on this extrude, click on sketch 2, and this is going to be the height of the post-it note holder. And since the post-it note is about 10 millimeters in height, we're going to make the height 15 millimeters just to give it more leeway again. We're going to click on this check mark. Now, perfect. Now all we're going to do is create the cover for the post-it note holder where the post-it will slide through. So we're going to create another sketch. We're going to make the sketch on top of this sketch 2 extrude 2 that we just made. And then we're going to make two rectangles. So from this corner to the side, it can be anywhere. And then this corner to the side again. Sorry. Let me redo that. This corner to the side. Now we want the gap in between to be about 15 millimeters. So we're gonna do the distance from here to here to be 15 millimeters. And then we want it to be centered. So since we know that this entire square is 85 millimeters and that this is 15 millimeters, we have a difference of 70 millimeters. So then we're gonna divide that by half to get 35 millimeters. Perfect, so now it's centered. We're gonna click on this check mark. And then we're going to extrude this third sketch by 2.5 millimeters once again. Oh, but then now we realize that there's a gap right here and it's a little ugly. So we're gonna fix that. We're gonna go back into this sketch. We're gonna double click it. And then we're actually just gonna make another corner rectangle going from one corner to the other just to fill in that space. And then when we click the check, we're gonna realize that the extrude just extrudes that area as well. Now it's perfect. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna fillet the corners so that they're a little more smooth and less very sharp angles. So we're gonna click on this fillet tool right over here. And I want to fillet this corner, and then I also want to fillet these corners right here. When I look around, all these corners aren't as sharp anymore. So we're gonna click on this check mark button. Actually, before we click on that, we can see that we can change the radius of the fillet right over here. I made it 1.5 millimeters. If you make it, you can make it bigger, and then you can see that the fillet is like larger, and then you can make it smaller as well. But I like 1.5. Then we're going to click on this check mark button. Now we have a finished post-it note holder. So we're going to go back to the real world. We're going to actually slice it on the slicing software and then 3D print it. Okay, now that we're in FabLab, we're going to get the CAD we just made, convert it into an STL file so we can slice and print it on the 3D printer. We're gonna log into OnShape again on the computer in FabLab, and we're gonna click on the file that we just made. We're gonna go towards the bottom at this Part Studio, and we're gonna right click and click on Export. And we can just name it again. And then we're gonna export this STL file, and we're gonna open the Prusa slicer. And then once it's open, we can get the file that we just downloaded, and we're gonna drag it onto the Prusa slicer. And now that we have it on this platform, we can adjust it so that we can place the face onto this bottom part so that we don't need any supports. After this, you're gonna click on Slice Now at the bottom. And now we have the G code. So once we get the G code, we can export this G code, but first we need to grab an SD card from the printer. So right over here, we grab the SD card sticking out the side right here. We're gonna take it out, and then we're gonna go back to here. We're going to use this USB, and we're going to insert the SD card, and then we're gonna go to this back, and we see this converter to put in all our USB. So then once that's in there, we can export this G code into this USB drive. And we're gonna save it. And now we're gonna eject the drive, and we can take the USB drive back out, take this SD card, and put it back into the printer. And then we're gonna see the post-it holder right at the top. We're gonna click on it, and now it's gonna print. So now we're gonna wait for the 3D printer to heat up, and then now we see that it's homing, and we're gonna wait for the first layer. And once the first layer is finished, you can leave the FabLab and then come back once the 3D print is finished. So now that the print is done, we can take it off the bed, And now we have a fully functioning post-it note holder. So we're going to insert the post-it note in the side. And now you can use it as a post-it note holder. And that's how you CAD with OnShape and 3D print at FabLab. Thank you. Bye.